This game couldn't have started worse. Jalen Carter was ejected from the game.
When you come out in week one, it's just about finding ways to win.
Eagles lead 21-20.
2:47 left. Cowboys trail 24-20. Prescott deep middle. Lamb at the 25. And the ball came out.
It's so un-CD-like.
This is the ball game, 4th and 3. He's got Lamb down the left side, and he can't hold it. And that's probably going to end the Cowboys' hopes for a tremendous upset.
I mean, I can't point no fingers at anybody else. I take full accountability and everything else that come with it.
Such a dramatic game. Cowboys lose by 4. Signs of struggle. They allow touchdowns on 3 straight drives to begin the game. The Eagles converted 62% of their third downs. It all adds up to the Cowboys' 4th season-opening loss in the last 6 years. When it's Dallas, you want to hear from Jerry Jones. He was asked afterwards if the Cowboys missed Micah Parsons.
Well, anytime you have a great player and don't have him out there on the field. But I specifically was watching a lot of the guys that were taking up the slack. Or that type of thing does give you encouragement. I'm sorry, though, that we lost the game. We had a fairy tale to step up here and beat the world champs in his first game. But it doesn't always happen the way they wrote Cinderella. But I'm pretty proud of this team.
Teddy, you were telling me this morning in our meeting that you think if Micah Parsons had been on the field last night, some of those critical runs that Jalen Hurts made and all that, it made a difference last night.
That would have been the difference. Dan's tape was exactly right. I mean, the pass rush levels, the inside moves, when you have man coverage, the pass rush plan. I mean, Schottenheimer even said it at halftime. Poor job of doing that by the rushers. And eventually, when they did execute their pass rush plan and have Hurts in that pocket, they couldn't separate. I mean, Mailata's grabbing him, Johnson's grabbing him, Dickerson's coming and laying guys out. They couldn't execute the plan. They tried it, but they couldn't finish on the plan, and that's where you think that Micah probably knows that. I mean, all of a sudden, then we would have been talking about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith with big games. So really, you have to. They trusted their 4-man rush, and then Flus made some great adjustments at the half. And I think that just if they had a difference maker, it could have been a different outcome. But you know this is something where Fowler did make a play. He's going to have to know that he's the guy that needs to do it. Nealon made a play. They just have to be more regularity.
Peter, I'm going to say something to you, and I specifically say this to you because I'm afraid the players here will yell at me for saying it, because they're going to tell me there were no moral victories. But the God's honest truth is, if I wake up this morning and a Cowboy fan, I feel great. That team looked so much better than I expected them to after all of the drama and all of the nonsense. If you're going to tell me that the game is going to come down to my best offensive player, C.D. Lamb, with big drops, I'm going to tell you 9 out of 10 times we win that game because he catches those balls. The Cowboys looked infinitely more organized than they have in the past. They looked better coached. Look at the sequence at the end of the first half when they go right down the field. They actually execute the play that ends their season a couple of years ago. If I'm a Cowboy fan, I wake up this morning encouraged despite the loss.
Encouraged. I would be thrilled if I'm a Cowboys fan, and I will echo you. I didn't play the game. I hear about it on Twitter every single time I speak about football. I will add to it, though, that in this case, as much as we missed Micah Parsons in those spots, you look at the defensive game plan, A.J. Brown didn't kill you, Devontae Smith didn't kill you, and for all summer hearing about how they were going to not be able to run the ball and they weren't going to be able to do anything on the pass rush, Matt Eberflus's game plan was pretty darn good, and they were in it to the very last play.
So one of the storylines coming out last night was like, okay, A.J. Brown's not getting targets and Devontae Smith's not getting a ton of touches. I think Schrags and Teddy just hit on it. RC's going to know that's something the Cowboys did intentionally. It was to take away the ball down the field outside of the Dotson throw down the field, which was once again, absolutely perfect. They were playing shell. They were playing umbrella coverage. They wanted to minimize the ball going down the field and not play any one-on-ones. The sacrifice was the Jalen Hurts scrambles. And that's kind of the beauty of what Jalen did. Okay, this is my play call. This is what the defense is giving me. The best play for us is for me to see is that one
backfield because he's getting pressure. This is Jalen Hurts waiting 4 or 5 seconds, watching things develop downfield, and then now picking his opportunity to run. And so Matt Eberflus in the second half, he started to bring second-level pressure, whether it was Deron Bland. We saw a corner blitz by Trayvon Diggs, and we were making Jalen Hurts make decisions in the backfield. The problem is now, as teams get more film on this, I know how to attack your fire zones. I know how to attack your second-level pressures. So what's going to be the next step for Matt Eberflus to create pressure, Teddy?
Yeah, and then also, I mean, Jalen Hurts had all the right answers. They decided what they wanted to take away, and Jalen Hurts knew what to do against it. So if there's another game plan, we haven't talked about Saquon either.
Right.
They could run the ball with Saquon Barkley. This Eagles offense with a quarterback that's playing as well as Hurts is, I mean, they can beat you in every single way possible.
We're going to go deeply into the Eagles side of this in a few minutes, but just to sort of put a ribbon on the Cowboys side of it, I'm going to say what I said at the beginning of the show. If CeeDee Lamb holds on to a ball that he catches 99 out of 100 times, the entire conversation this morning is Dak Prescott is an MVP candidate, because as great as you're telling us Jalen Hurts played, and he did, to me, to my eye, and I'll defer to your expertise, I thought Dak played just as well. I thought he was sensational last night.
I totally agree. Dak threw it and moved as good as we've seen him in years, probably 2 or 3 years. I agree with you with the Cowboys. I think if you're the Cowboys and you watch that game, and again, I think you beat yourselves, you walk away going, Schottenheimer had the group ready. The operation of the football team as a whole was very good. The interior of your offensive line looked well in comparison to what we have seen in the past. So I know wins and losses totally, but you walk away going, we got a chance to be a good football team.
Let's talk about competence defensively in terms of so many times in the past watching a lack of communication with the Dallas defensive backs. A simple motion, and it's like you got him. I mean, they looked competent last night under Eberflus lining up. I was specifically watching how good are they at lining up? How good are they adjusting? How good are they at any type of pre-snap penalties, anything like that? They looked good, I thought.
When the Eagles needed to make a play, though, they made the play.
Totally.
And Zach Bourne chases him 53 yards, almost knocks the ball out of Miles Sanders' hands. The very next play, they do knock the ball out of Miles Sanders' hands. To me, that's why the Eagles.
But that's the other thing too, though. Before you knock the ball out of Miles Sanders' hands, you have 3rd and 22. Right, and Dak Prescott is continuing to be aggressive, and he hits Jake Ferguson in between the 8 and the 7. It bounces off his hand, and now Reed Blankenship gets an unnecessary roughness. That was the beauty of Dak last night. Dak walked into Lincoln Financial to win, and he played to win the entire night. He played aggressive the entire night. Let's think about this. We're talking about CeeDee Lamb's last drop. That was 4th and 3.
Right.
They ran a switch route on Cooper DeJean, pushed it down the field, and had an opportunity to make a big play.
Aggressive.
If you're thinking about, to me, the big
Scott for the remainder of the season, they'll have a top 10 offense, and they'll absolutely be a playoff contender.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get to the Eagles part of it in a minute. But Football Fridays on this show also mean Fortenball Fridays.
Let's go.
Joe Fortenball with
The
all
stash.
the gambling insight. And there's so many storylines here. So we talked about the possibilities of what might come next.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
Jacket? Like
Jacket is spectacular. Yes, you look outstanding.
Moleskin, I got a guy.
I played pool on that like 2 weeks ago. Anyway, here's the question that I have. Let's start now with what comes out of this game. We talk about the Eagles. They got a rematch with Kansas City, the Super Bowl rematch next week. Be interested to see what the league does with Jalen Carter. What are you thinking about with that game?
Early point spread is up. It's going to be Philadelphia +2 at Kansas City. I'd be looking to the Eagles, not because of what we saw last night, but because of 2 things regarding Kansas City. Number 1, the matchup tonight against the Chargers. I think that's going to be a problem for the Chiefs. More on that later in the show. And when it is, it's going to have an effect on the line. Number 2, the travel back from Brazil. I wonder how that affects the team. Last year, we saw Philly come back from Brazil. They lost at home to Atlanta. We saw Green Bay come back from Brazil. They struggled with the Colts, albeit they were banged up. I'm looking to the Eagles there.
Okay, so you're looking Eagles against Kansas City next week. Obviously, all this pending what happens with Jalen Carter, because if he's not there, I assume that's a major factor. The Cowboys play the Giants next week. What does that say?
Dallas currently a 3-point favorite. I'd be looking to the Giants. Again, not so much a fade of Dallas because of what we saw last night, but because of what we're going to see from the Giants this weekend. Don't be surprised if that's the big surprising upset from week 1, the Giants taking out Washington. Money's been coming in on the Giants. That's going to be a problem for the Commanders, and when it happens, it's going to affect the line. The thing for the Giants, when they go to play Dallas, they're going to be able to run the ball. That's going to take pressure off of Russell Wilson. It's going to keep the defense fresh, and that's the Giants' secret weapon this year, that defense.
For those of you who don't speak gambling, that's why these are critical decisions that you make now. Sunday's games are going to have a huge, tonight's game in the case of Kansas City, and then Sunday's game will have a huge impact on the line that you see here. If you want to get the Giants +3, this might be the time to do it.
You're coming along nicely, Greenberg.
Finally, you're teaching me. I'm listening. I stand here and I pay attention to what you say. How about the Cowboys last night and their big picture coming off of this opening game?
Season win total 7.5. The only movement we've seen is a little bit of juice, +120 to the over. I would still look to the over here despite the commentary on the Giants. This is a price that tells you Dallas is a below average football team. I think Dallas is an average football team. Might not sound like much when we're talking about it, but the difference between below average and average might just be one game. That's enough to get us to 8-9. That's enough to win the bet. This offense is going to keep them in games, as we saw last night. 8.5 was too big of a spread for that matchup because Dallas's offense is going to keep them live in some of these spots.
Absolutely. They were a couple of drops away from beating the defending champs. I love the over at 7.5 wins for the season. Football is back, and right now, new ESPN Bet customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10